We have a lot of news and rumors for you folks today in this video, and we're going to break it all down. NFL Combine wrapped up yesterday, and now let the rumors in the draft and mock drafts really begin. And we got free agency happening in a week. So we're going to go over FanSided list of 5 cornerbacks the Detroit Lions could target in free agency. We're going to go over those lists, and I'm going to give you realistic or unrealistic. We'll see what the trends have been with the corner position. It's the weakest position I feel on the Lions football team, and we all fully expect them to address it in free agency. We're going to go over that list. The Lions met with quarterback Anthony Richardson. If you didn't see the NFL Combine, I'll just let you know he exploded in it. He did mass records, and his stock is rising in a big way. We're going to tell you what it means for the Lions there and other players the Lions met with. And could Will Anderson, the edge from Alabama, actually fall to the Detroit Lions at 6? The latest buzz will suggest that it can. But before we get into today's video, if you are not a subscriber to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are less than 200 away from 34,000. So if you're one of those not subscribed, hit that subscribe button now. Let's go ahead and climb the ladder of Chat Sports. We do all things Detroit Lions on this bad boy. Let's go ahead and start with the cornerback targets for FanSided. They gave 5 corners the Lions could sign. So let's go over this list and tell you what I think. First, we're going to start with P.J. Williams as a target for the Lions in the cornerback position. I'm going to give this a 1 Lions logo here for target meter. Why do I say 1 logo? Because he's 29 years old, and he honestly didn't play that great last year. 17 solo tackles in 2 pass defense. I think the Lions want to get a little bit better at that position. I think there's options there the Lions could go ahead and get, not involving him. The Lions would like to get younger. I get it. I give it a 1 because of him understanding Aaron Glenn and understanding the Lions' connection with the New Orleans Saints. The next corner on the list here was Rock Ya-Sin from the Raiders. I don't really believe he's a target for the Detroit Lions. Yes, he's younger, but I think they can go in a better way, in a different way here. Honestly, I'd rather go Mike Hughes and target him in free agency. I think that would even be a better option in all honesty. But before we get into our top 3, name me a cornerback you want the Detroit Lions to sign in free agency. Any name. Go ahead and go with Bradbury, Dean, Mike Hughes, our own guys. Let me know in the comments below. Who do you want the Lions to sign? The next cornerback on the list here, and I think it's a little more realistic here, is Cameron Sutten from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He does have a lot of experience, a good veteran, and a good player. I don't think it's going to cost $1 billion to get him. I think he would be mid-price range. That's an option for Detroit. He does have leadership skills. He could be a mentor to the young guys, and then you can upgrade in the NFL draft, and your corners are looking much better. The number 2 on my list here, I think, is actually realistic. That's Jamel Dean, the outstanding cornerback from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's young at 26. He's got the prototypical height, and he's a top 10 cornerback in the NFL. It's going to cost the Lions a lot of money at $16.5, but he has been rumored with the Detroit Lions all offseason. Rumored here with Detroit. And so when you're consistently getting placed to the Lions, we got to talk about it. The number 1 corner on my list, and on their list, is Byron Murphy. I've been talking about Byron Murphy for about almost 2 months now for a target for the Detroit Lions. Why is that? Because first off, he is good. He's young. He's only 25 years old. He was injured last year, but it's not like he's an injury-prone player. Before that, he was healthy throughout his tenure as an Arizona Cardinal. He's very good, and I think you can get him for a 1-year, $5 million deal. He would be an upgrade at the cornerback position, and you can draft a guy. For money-wise, I think it would be great. For the Detroit Lions, I think he would fit well with the style that he has. I think it's a realistic option. The last 2 is the most realistic to me. Let's continue on here with the NFL draft. So the Detroit Lions did meet with AR-15, also known as Anthony Richardson, and more. And we're going to talk about it right now, and I'm giving this 2 logos. First off, Anthony Richardson blew up the NFL Combine like we haven't seen. This guy was absolutely on fire. He killed it. I mean, he absolutely crushed it. He had a phenomenal NFL Combine, 40-yard dash for his size, 4.43, 10-yard split, 1.53 vertical is 40.5, and 10.9 broad jump. The guy is a physical specimen. And after him throwing too, he was throwing some great passes, deep passes. Most people, myself included, think he's a top 5 draft pick. I don't think he gets out of the top 5. Yes, the Detroit Lions met with him, and I do think that's important to understand because so far with Brad Holmes, half of the people that he has drafted, he has met with. But I don't think he's going to be available at the Lions pick 6. So if you like Richardson, I don't think he's going to be there. If you don't want a quarterback, I think that's fantastic. Why is that fantastic? Because the more quarterbacks blow up, and they did at this combine, the option for players who you do want will fall to the Lions. So let me know in the comments section right now. Do you think Anthony Richardson will be a top 5 draft pick? Why for yes and for no? Let me know in the comments below. Personally, I do think he's a top 5 pick, and that's fantastic. Let's go over the players that the Detroit Lions also met with at the NFL Combine. They met with wide receiver Quentin Johnston. And you say, man, why are they meeting with these offensive players? Well, Brad Holmes is going to draft offense. This idea that they're just going to go all defense to the draft is absurd. That's not going to happen because you do have other needs. Do I think they go wide receiver? No. Quentin Johnston, to me, is probably a top 10 pick, maybe 11 pick. I don't think the Lions going to take a wide receiver that high, in all honesty. Probably just doing their due diligence. Jayden Reed is another wide receiver that they did go ahead and meet with. I guess that potentially could be an option. Same with Antoine Green. I think that's another option there. You know, in the later part of the draft, we're talking. This guy probably is, I don't know, what, a seventh or 6th round pick. So we're talking about a guy that you can get if DJ Chark leaves. They also met with Sam LaPorta, tight end from Iowa, who's probably a 2nd round pick. I'm not a big fan of any tight end here. Hopefully this is just smoke. Jammie Robinson, safety from Florida State. A legit option target for the Lions. Same with Jordan McFadden. Noah Sewell, too, they met with him. There's been a lot of speculation that Noah Sewell wants to be a Detroit Lion. Why? Because his brother is here. And they met with Trenton Simpson. I think Jamie Robertson, Sewell, Trenton Simpson, and Jordan McFadden are options here. And Trenton Simpson would be a phenomenal player. And he keeps falling to the 2nd round. Does this happen? I have absolutely no idea, but we just hope that it does happen because I think he would be really good for the Detroit Lions. Look, so they're doing their due diligence here when they look at all these players and they talk to them. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to draft them, but as a GM, you have to do your due diligence on the quarterback position, just like every position on this football team, because if you don't, you're not doing your job. So, but they have trended. It is now Brad Holmes. When he meets or has those visits, he gets half the people so far. So, again, when you look at this list, about half the list, I could see them going ahead and drafting. I could. Just like we've seen the trend here. I do love Noah Sewell and Trenton Simpson because I think that the Lions really need to focus on linebacker. It sucks that they didn't meet with Jack Campbell, but we'll wait until they go ahead and bring in these players for visits. And remember, they didn't meet with players they drafted last year as well. So some of the players they do, some of they don't. It's 50-50. That's just the way that it works. Now, let's go on to the next rumor here. Will Anderson falling to the Detroit Lions? Could this legitimately happen? And I'm going to tell you, I do believe it could happen because of Anthony Richardson. CJ Stroud blew up the NFL Combine. At this point, I think it's very possible that 3 quarterbacks go in the top 4. And guess what? Arizona Cardinals, you say they will take Will Anderson. Not what the buzz around the NFL. They like Tyree Wilson more. Matter of fact, Tyree Wilson's been blowing up draft boards, and the rumor is he'll be the first defender to come off the board. It's just like last year with Jacksonville Jaguars. How, we all thought, well, we believed and we were correct that Aiden Hutchinson was the better defender and the edge rusher, but guess what? He didn't go one. This is the case here. And then if that happens, if the Colts are sitting at 4, they're going to take quarterback. And what they're saying is Seattle Seahawks potentially could take a quarterback or Jalen Carter. So then you're sitting at 6, and Will Anderson falls to the Detroit Lions at pick 6. I know we don't need help at edge, but I don't think you could possibly walk away from that if he is sitting there at pick 6. If the draft goes what PFF believes, in which their mock drafts are showing this, and what now the latest buzz is, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson will be available at 6. One of those guys will be. And according to what they believe, Jalen Carter could be a Seattle Seahawk, or they could go quarterback. And that leaves Will Anderson to the Detroit Lions, and I think that would be a massive win. Let me know in the comment section right now, do you believe that Will Anderson falls to the Lions? Why for yes and for no? I want to know what you think on this one. I do think there's a possibility in this world that he does fall. For sure. Because I do believe the Tyree Wilson hype that he's driving up there. And if Tyree Wilson goes up there, we just hit a slam dunk with those quarterbacks going early. We hit a slam dunk. This is why we got to watch how things go. But it was a great combine for the Detroit Lions because of what those quarterbacks did. Folks, we got videos dropping every single day. Get ready for that. Live show Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest news and rumors regarding our Detroit Lions.